These experts are out here trying to get up close and personal with one of the worst scourges in the West. The Mormon cricket has become notorious for its destructive invasions. With this many jumping around, it's not a job for the faint of heart.
They sneak up on you too, like they might crawl up your pant leg and you don't feel it until they get all the way up to your neck, and then they're really big, juicy insects, so you kind of have to fight the urge to slap them or you'll get a whole bunch of juicy guts all over your neck. You got to watch out for that.
In a half-dozen states have been blanketed by thick bands of big black insects. Although they are known as crickets, these insects are actually katydids, not true crickets. They don't fly, but can hop and crawl as much as a mile in a day, eating anything and everything.
That's pretty...
They don't fly, but can hop and crawl as much as a mile in a day, eating anything and everything.
That's pretty intense, and even if you like insects, you would not want to sit down in the middle of that.
There is an issue in Oregon where they are facing all these cannibalistic Mormon crickets. It's a pretty crazy issue here. This stretches throughout the Pacific Northwest of the United States in areas from Idaho up into Oregon. And agriculture up there is estimating 10 million acres of rangeland in 18 counties back in 2021 were attacked by these things. And they're back. They're causing more problems, and if it gets back to the levels of where they were, it's going to cause devastation to what crops we've got left, like the wheat and whatever else they're growing up there in that region. Now, they go on to say that some of the counties of levels of where they were, it's going to cause devastation to what crops we've got left, like the wheat and whatever else they're growing up there in that region. Now, they go on to say that some of the counties have come together and they have suggested spraying and aerial spraying of pesticides to stop these things. Others have said, no, we do not want sprayed by those chemicals. So it's a back and forth type of situation. And then when you add in the fact that these things are cannibalistic, once you kill some on the road, these things will show up and start eating on the other ones. They say they will eat the others dead or alive if they're not getting enough protein.
All right, Shalom. This is Har 1 by Nyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakar Kodash, Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, Nakwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. This is a quick topic dealing with these swarms of Mormon crickets. They're engulfing the West. All right, they engulf the Oregon farms, and they said it's truly biblical. All right, truly biblical. Now, why are they saying it's biblical? Because this comes at a time when there's a drought on the west coast of America due to the dry season. Also, lack of wheat imports, right? And also the war over there with Ukraine, all right? A major portion of wheat that came into America came from Ukraine. Now, Russia recently choked off Ukraine's delivery points to America. All right. So they're causing a shortage of wheat in America due to the war, due to them provoking Russia into doing so in the sanctions and cutting off the transit routes for Russia to Kaliningrad, which is a military base over there for Russia. They cut that off with Lithuania. All right, so now Russia's doing the same thing to America, cutting off the choke points with the wheat imports to America. So now the farms in America are forced to try to step up their game, but they're still under the grips of you-know-who, Monsanto. They're still under the grips of Bill Gates and the elites that are controlling the farms and buying up all the farms, destroying all the crops. So there's an intentional famine that's being established here in America or Babylon. All right, and this goes according to scripture. That's why they keep saying it's truly biblical. What does that mean? It reminds them of this. All right, this is Psalm 78 and 41. Sorry about the noise in the background. That's my dog snoring. Let me move. Jeez. All right. So now, this is Psalm 78 and 41. It says, "Yea, they turned back and tempted Yahweh." It's talking about Israel. All right, just like today, 2/3 are turning back to the world and they're tempting the Lord. They're going back into what? To Egypt for help instead of turning to the Lord for help. And Egypt, modern day Egypt today is America. All right, Babylon. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy. All right, so even today, our people have forgotten the times in Egypt when the Lord delivered us out of Egypt from the Pharaoh. All right. How he had wrought his signs in Egypt and his wonders in the field of Zoan. So the Lord showed his miracles, and he's showing his miracles again today. And people can't understand that it's the Lord that's bringing destruction upon this place. And had turned their rivers into blood and their floods, and they could not drink, man. And the waters in America, around America, are going to be bitter from the missiles. And look at what was that place called, man? Where they had the water problem at. I just cannot think about it right now, man. Detroit. Think of Detroit, Flint, Michigan. You know, and you see ever since Dick Cheney was in office, they started putting chemicals in the water, in regular tap water. You know, I remember when I was little, I used to be able to walk straight up to a faucet and just drink, man, out in the streets, anywhere. You know, you still had to worry about germs, but it was people would clean them. You could just drink straight from the faucet, and the water was good, tastes good, especially in Philadelphia. But now you try to drink it, man, you might die. All right, verse 45. And he sent diverse sorts of flies among them, which devoured them. All right, so the Lord can send flies, or he can send frogs. He can send flies, which will bring what? Frogs to come and eat them. And frogs, which destroyed them. All right. And with frogs come disease. You know, it's like a torment. And people are like, I can handle that. Yeah, okay. That's what the lady in the beginning said. Even if you like insects, it's a little intense. It's a little unbearable. All right. And he gave also their increase. So anything they increase with wheat in this place, or grain, it says he gave that what? Unto the caterpillar. And, you know, and their labor unto the locust, man. So there's the wheat, their storehouses, their, you know, their crops. So the Lord did that. He gave all of that to the locust and to the caterpillar in Egypt. This is 2 Edras 15 and 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand. See that same wonders, a mighty hand. All right, that's what the Lord about to do. And a stretched out arm, man. He's going to send Yahweh and the elect are out here prophesying. And he's going to send the chariots to gather his elect, just like he did during the time of Egypt. Cloud by day, fire by night. And he says what? And he's going to smite Egypt with plagues as before. All right, so they know this. They know that they're looking for it. What's the modern day Egypt? It's going to be right here, America. Also known in the scriptures as the daughter of Babylon. And it's being smitten with the same form of plagues, you know, as Egypt fell. And will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, man. See, the ones that's tilling the grounds with the grain and the crops, they're mourning right now, all the farmers and the corporations. It says, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and the hail with a fearful constellation. Now check this out. Let me get to the point. Verse 19, because there's going to be sedition among men, civil wars. And it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. See, it's going to drive people to go crazy when there's no food. And they can't eat them burgers like they want. Quarter pounders, all that bread. And getting wheat belly and gluten. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, man, with the gun. So they're going to be going next door to get some food, because there ain't no food, there ain't no bread, no wheat. And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So, so people are going to start bugging out here soon. That's what famine going to bring. It's going to bring cannibalism. It's going to bring chaos, death, invading one another. All right, so let's read a little bit of this article. It says here, swarms of Mormon crickets engulf Oregon farms, man. So basically the West. Truly biblical. Wow. See? So it must be that heavy. And cannibal locusts is what they're called, okay? Because if you kill a whole swarm of them, the new ones show up immediately and eat the other ones, even if they're alive. So it's like causing more of a problem if you kill them. Mormon crickets, giant insects, so they're actually not crickets, all right? They're part of the locust, so-called family, all right? Now it says, giant insects that descend upon areas in huge swarms are destroying millions of acres of farmland in Oregon. Each cricket can grow to over 2 inches long, and when swarming, can ravage fields of crops in a matter of hours, man. It only take like an hour or so. In a matter of hours, they can damage fields of crops, all right? And they don't fly, so they stay on the ground. Their name comes from the fact that they ruined the fields of Mormon settlers in Utah in the 1800s. The Mormons are Edomite devils, all right, the Joseph Smith. But the fields of Mormon settlers in Utah in the 1800s, man. So that's why they call them Mormon crickets. But they're not crickets. You're not Esau. Anyway. And have plagued, what? Have plagued. See, it's a plague. They have plagued farmlands ever since, man. See, as soon as they started touching this land, the Lord started cursing this land. In the face of, see, the Gadites, they looked at it as a blessing. They would hunt the crickets down and eat them, or what we call them, the locusts. All right, because they're edible. I don't know if this specific, I think this specific species, I don't know if they're edible, but I think they're part of the grasshopper, the locust family, all right, and the black cricket, but they're not crickets. But it says here, what? It says a plague, man, okay? But the Gadites would eat them for protein. But Esau look at it like what? A burden. In the face of increased temperatures as a result of worsening droughts, what? Worsening droughts in the U.S., the infestations of the crickets have become far worse. It's getting worse and worse in this place. All right, so let's get one more article. All right, so it's actually worsening the drought that's already in place. Okay, So the Lord is bringing this place down, man. He said, "There's no throne, get you into darkness, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed." Drought in western Kansas exacerbates global wheat shortage. I'm gonna read that again. This is from July 1st, 2022. A drought, man, in the western Kansas exacerbates global wheat shortage. So there's a global wheat shortage going on right now. So these invasion of Mormon crickets is part of a bigger picture of a drought that's going on around the world. All right, so they can control ultimately the elites. Not saying they did this, but I'm saying they want to use stuff like this to control the people. All right, through starvation. Real soon. It says Western Kansas farmer Vance Emke holds 2 heads of wheat, and that's cool. Yep. Look at that. One that developed in spite of the drought, and one that died. Look at that, man. Wow. So they're supposed to be green. So all that's dead field right there. That's deep. All right. So the one that died, the wheat, it looked just like all the rest of the wheat that's in the field right there. It's all dead wheat. It's crazy, man. Here you go. Check this out, because it gets deep. The plot thickens. It says Russia's war in Ukraine has disrupted global food supplies. See how it's all trickling down? All right. Driving up demand and prices for wheat. Was that part of hyperinflation? But after months of drought, many western Kansas farmers won't have a crop to sell. Won't be anything to sell, man. You know, this time of year, they're going to sell that fake food from Bill Gates. This time of year, the wheat growing in this part of the western Kansas should be thigh high and lush and green. See, the ones that till the ground are going to mourn. That's what the Bible said. I just read it. All right, Psalm 78 and 41. Those that till the, or 42. Those that till the ground shall mourn. All right. But as a month-long drought continues to parch the region, many fields tell a different story, man. All right. There's nothing out here. It's dead. There's nothing out here, out there. It's dead, man. Farmer Vance Emke said, surveying a wheat field near his land in Lane County, it's just ankle-high straw. That's all they got out there, straw. Ain't that something? All right. I went over this the other day. I'm going to go over it again just real quick, briefly. Revelation 6 and 5, because we're in the time of the black horse. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, man. Black represents famine and death, all right? And plagues, and also drought. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. See, that's talking about Esau. Esau, these elites, they're the same ones that put us in slavery, and now they're trying to put a new yoke upon us, which would be that digital system. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, and it's talking about Yahushua or Yahweh, sitting upon the throne in the midst of the 4th beast, the 4 beasts, the angels. A measure of wheat for a penny. See, now a measure of wheat, which would be a pound of wheat, or like a loaf of bread for a penny, for a day's wages, man. So today it'd be like between 500, anywhere from days' wages from 50 to $1,000 something, because people can make 1,000 in one day. You know, so it could be anywhere from basically hyperinflation. And 3 measures of barley. All right, so barley for a penny. All right, so that'd be like a pound too. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay, so the elect, that's what it's talking about. So yeah, man, 3 measures of barley for a penny. So, all right, so let's read this. 3 measures of barley, which would be an ephah, like a pot. It says, what is an ephah of barley in the Bible? A Hebrew unit of dry measure, which you would put in a little pot, an ephah, and you put dry powder or seeds or lentils in it and measure it that way. Equal to a bushel, meaning 35 liters. All right, so, all right, because that's what money is really measured in weight, all right? Gold, silver, you measure that in weight. Barley, grain, you know. So it says here, so barley and wheat, small measures of it are going to go for a whole day's wages, like a drachma would be in the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire. All right, let me keep going. All right, check this out, because this is all part of a bigger picture. It says here, is Lithuania on the verge of dragging? Oh, so like, let me get this wrong one. All right, so these crickets are showing up at a bad time for America, man. It's a burden to it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that as well. U.S. wants farmers to boost wheat production amid a global food shortage they cannot afford to. All right, so Russia war is triggering a wheat shortage in countries dependent on Ukraine supply, and one of those countries is America. The Biden administration has pushed to expand U.S. wheat production, but incentives have limits. Droughts in the Great Plains and rain have challenged this year's wheat harvest in the Midwest. Man. All right, so yeah, I'm not gonna click on this page because they're trying to get a subscriber. I'm gonna click on this real quick. I can't. Okay, so yeah, man, that's just it. So there's this war with Ukraine. America gets most of its wheat from Ukraine. All right, another 10 days to 2 weeks, he said, explaining how much time was needed before the crop was ready for harvest. Corbia, I think they only have like 6 days, 5 days in the global wheat storage. Corbia, a farmer for nearly 3 decades, has rarely been through a season like this one. The Russians' bloody creep into Ukraine, a breadbasket for the world, has caused an upheaval in global grain markets. Coastal blockades have trapped millions of tons of wheat and corn inside Ukraine. With famine stalking Africa, the Middle East, and elsewhere in Asia, and a frenetic scramble for new suppliers and alternate shipping routes is underway. All right, so America trying to fill in the void, and with Romania. Because of the war, there are opportunities for Romanian farmers this year, Corbia said through a translator. All right, so yeah, man. So they all scrambling to try to fill that void that's happening with the wheat harvest around the world, and with the war, and with Russia cutting off the exports from Ukraine. All right, and a lot of it came over here as well. So, all right, so in the midst of all of that, you have these crickets that showed up, or what you would call locusts. Are Mormon crickets really crickets? On the highways, once you get them killed, then the rest of them come, he explained. Mormon crickets are cannibalistic and will feed on each other, dead or alive. If not satiated with protein, the insects, which are not true crickets, but they are called shield-backed katydids, are flightless, all right? So you have katydids, that's what they're part of. The katydid family goes into the grasshopper or locust type of family. All right, yeah, look at that, man. So let me read this real quick. The precepts real fast. It says here, I'm gonna get this real quick. All right, I always love to bring this scripture out. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now the days of thy Creator and the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Basically saying, call on the Lord before you reach your deathbed, or somebody gets in the midst of trouble, hunger, or dying, or old. All right. So remember the Lord now before all hell breaks loose. It says, and the doors, verse 4, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, when there's not going to be any employment, no work, no farming, no production going on here in America. And all around the world. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird and study an alarm clock. You're going to wake up to the birds. And all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All right? And you see that happening with these entertainers today. And these corporations. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way. So everything you see in America's future is nothing but destruction in their path. And the almond tree shall flourish, meaning the prophecies are flourishing. And the grasshopper shall be a burden, man. So, and really what that means is the smallest thing is going to be a burden to this place. And that's what's happening. Every little movement is basically destroying this place, man. See, the Lord is bringing it, America down to a low degree. All right, turning it into a third world country. So the grasshopper is a burden. So the smallest thing can tilt the scale, man. Cause this place to fall like a house of cards. And desire shall fail. All right. Everything that Jake desires, to say Jake is like a wild ass snuffing up their desires, like snuffing up the wind at their pleasure. Basically snuffing up their desires at their pleasure all over the world. Well, check this out. And desire shall fail, because man go up to his long home, meaning to the spirit realm, and the mourners go about in the streets. So there'll be a lot of death out here, man. A lot of dead bodies. All right. 2nd Edras 6:22. And suddenly it's going to happen out of nowhere. It's going to seem like it's out of nowhere, but us, we're watching, those that are of the truth. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, man. What's that? The word sown means to plant or harvest. So to plant into the soil. So all the sown places, like the wheat, it is appearing unsown. That's why that guy was holding up dead wheat and live wheat. And he said all his fields are dead. You look out there, it's all dead wheat, just straw. They appeared unsown. And the full storehouses, see what they would gather, the harvest, shall suddenly be found empty. Right? They're running out. They're running out of supplies. They said, yeah, let me see that real quick. All right, I'm not going to go into it. You can check it out later. But look at the topic. This is from May 2022. All right? It says what? The world, not just America, but the world has 10 weeks of wheat supplies left in storage. Food experts warn. A food insecurity expert predicts that there is only 10 weeks of wheat supplies left in the world as Russian invasions disrupts production. So now you see part of the reason They want to go into Russia. They're going at Russia. So they can blame Russia. All right, so it's second Ezra 6 and 22 is happening right now before our eyes. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. So all the stuff that they planted is corrupted and being destroyed by the drought, the insects. And the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, right? Because they're not producing anything and harvesting anything, and also the war, all right? Stopping exports. So, that's right, man. So they're full storehouses. That's what America used to be, full. See, what happens is they gather the harvest, and especially from overseas, they bring it to the docks. And at the docks, they put it in them containers, and at the containers, they put them on trucks. And at the trucks, they put them in these giant warehouses, storehouses, and then from the storehouses, they send them to the company warehouses, like Walmart warehouse, you know. And then from there, they put it to the shelves at the store. So those containers are empty. Those giant storehouses that they store it in from the containers are empty, are emptying out. The warehouses are diminishing. The store shelves are still full, but they're diminishing. See that? And the prices are going up for the wheat and for items. Hyperinflation in America. At the same time, the currency is crashing. Man, the economy. So the storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right. Let me get one more. This is second Ezra 16. I'm gonna go to 22. Actually, I'm gonna go to 21. Behold, victuals, which means basically food, all right, and items, food and raiment, but really food, shall be so good cheap upon earth, right? That's why you go to Mickey D's. People go to McDonald's. Which, if you're in the truth, you shouldn't be eating McDonald's, you know, and Burger King and all that. So they call it what? Fast food. All right, what Walmart got everyday low prices. So victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves, right, in their own mind, deceiving themselves, just like Jacob is today and these heathens. They think themselves to be in good case. But I mean, this place is really in a bad case right now. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth. So it's evils, it's showing you 10 days of wheat harvest. You know, locusts creeping in. All right, sword, famine, and great confusion. This is the place of confusion, Babylon, and famine. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, meaning no food. That's one of the worst ways to die, famine and drowning and burning. And the other that escaped the hunger shall the sword destroy, man. Ultimately, through martial law, the missiles, all right. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, meaning nobody gonna pick up the bodies. And there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it, man. So there's not gonna be anybody around to work. And there's not gonna be any grain. All right. That's why the Lord said, the scriptures say, the grinding shall cease because there are few. What's that? There's not going to be any work. No, there's going to be a lack of employees because a lot of people are going to be dead. And also, there's not going to be, like if you're working at a warehouse and you have a certain amount of boxes to load a day, you're only going to have a few boxes to load because there's not going to be any imports. All right? That shows you in the midst of a war. Second Ezra 15 and 50. 56. Like as thou hast done unto my chosen, saith Yahweh, even so shall Yahweh do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief. So the Lord is delivering this place into mischief, man. Thy children shall die of hunger. All right. So, man, there's going to be a lot of death all the way down to the children of hunger. And thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy city shall be broken down. That's what's happening. They're all being broken down. And all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. Talking about these heathens and 2/3 of our people. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger. So people try to flee to the mountains, running from martial law for whatever reason, going off grid, calling themselves doomsday preppers. What? They said they're going to die of the hunger. And they're going to what? They're going to eat their own flesh, just like goddamn Mormon crickets, damn cannibals. And drink their own blood for very hunger of bread and thirst of water. So you got to watch who you're around, man. It might eat you. You know, all these obese wives these dudes like to have, man. Or if it's a flood, they can't lift her up and shit like that. So you got to be careful. Or if these obese men with you women out there, you might get eaten. All right. So yeah, man, that's what this is bringing. You know, the Lord said we could eat certain things like locusts, and I don't know if the catidids, whatever they call them. I think they're from the family of locusts. So it's a heavy protein, rich and healthy, clean food because all they do is eat crops all day and vegetables. But Esau looking at it, telling people it's a burden. So they really could be eating it over there. They pluck off the wings, pluck off the legs, and cook it. Leviticus 11:21. Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet to leap upon the earth. Right. So these locusts, if they call them that, I call them Mormon crickets, but that's not the true name. Catidids, they don't fly, they just leap upon earth, all right? And they cover large spans of land real quick, almost like they're flying. Even these of them ye may eat, a locust after all, the locust after his kind, and the bald locust after his kind, and the beetle, certain beetles, after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. But all other flying creepy things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. So, right, so now you got this. Biblical Mormon cricket swarms descend on the west of America from Montana all the way to Nevada. All right. So it says Arlington, Oregon. Driving down a windy canyon road in northern Oregon rangeland, right? Because they say it could be dangerous. It can cause cars to hydroplane because these damn bugs so juicy and fat. If you squish them, it'll leave a lot of liquid on the road. Become a traffic hazard. All right. It says they are on the lookout for Mormon crickets, giant insects that can ravage crops, man. They are not hard to spot. The insect, which can grow larger than 2 inches, 5 centimeters. All right, so there you go. Thing beautiful. All right, so yeah, man. It says Mormon crickets are not new to Oregon. Native to western North America, their names dates back to the 1800s when they ruined the fields of Mormon settlers in Utah. But amidst drought and warming temperatures and war right now, conditions favored by the insects, outbreaks across the West have worsened. So, all right, so yeah, the catidids would be more along the lines of the grasshopper family. All right, so they're most likely clean to eat. Insects in the family Tetigonidae are commonly called katydids, and that's the same thing as these so-called Mormon crickets. They're not crickets. They're not crickets, or bush crickets, all right? They have previously been known as a longhorn grasshopper, all right? So, yeah, that's what they are. Same thing as these damn Mormon crickets, so-called. So I'm at the there, man, and, all right, yeah, man, it's a sign of the times. Cannibalism, that's what's about to happen out here, you know? And these crickets are a sign of this place falling. All right. It says biblical. So just another step towards the destruction of this place and the salvation of Israel. All right, shalom.